someone to help you, hey, reach out, please. So we're going live. All right. So welcome, guys. My name's Troy Hoffman. I'm the founder of a company called Simplurus and actually a few other companies. And lately we've been building something called Fractional Founders, where we actually go in and help scale other people's companies. And we're getting a percentage of ownership and helping them scale and help people grow and build what they're called to build, right? And so what we're going to be talking about today, and I was just sharing it to Instagram, is this. So first off, my name is Troy Hoffman. And if you don't know me, man, I am here because I built businesses, I struggled, and now I want to help other entrepreneurs truly build the entrepreneur dream that they have inside of them. And what I learned was there's a lot of tools, tricks, techniques, tactics, all kinds of things. I spent millions of dollars learning that you just don't learn until you get around it. I even hung out with someone today who's crushing it on products, crushing it on bringing in all this business. And they were just like, Troy, I didn't know any of this existed. And I was like, yeah, that's why we have these conversations, because I ask you the questions that you don't even know to ask yourself yet. That's what I'm great at. In a 0 to 15 million, 0 to 75 employee space, I can ask you questions that you don't even know to ask yet and give you some ideas of what the answers might be. So I'm going live every week trying to help entrepreneurs out there. And I think the number one thing we're going to talk about tonight is, and one, it's practice for me. I mean, honestly, practice for me. How do I get good at this? So the number one question is this, like, how do we build businesses during economic downturns? And I'm watching the news, I'm seeing all this stuff happening. And I'm just like, you know what? I started this one company called Simplurus in 2007 and in 2008. And in 2009 and 2010, we're skyrocketing, not because of the economic environment of the country, not because of any special business we're in. It was just because of the passion and the vision that we had. Most of the businesses that scale are because there's these entrepreneurs that just have a true passion and a true vision for whatever they're doing. Somebody's going to make money somewhere. The ups and downs of life are constant in every environment, in every century, in every decade, every 100 years, every 1,000 years. You're just looking at the turmoil that is called humanity. And our job as entrepreneurs, as just humans, is to figure out how do we find our place in all this chaos and all this turmoil. And so I think if we take time to follow some basic things in life, and I'm looking back going, well, what could I possibly share tonight that would impact your life? And I think one of the things that I would like to share today and start with is I've spent a lot of time with about 4 different entrepreneurs where it came down to this. And I think we kind of talked about it already in the beginning, is if we ask better questions, we get better answers. And the question is, what questions do you need to be asking yourself right now? And number 2, where are you giving yourself time and space to stop? Drew Hitchcock's in the house. Drew, I love you, man. Hopefully you answered the question that you and I talked about a month or 2 ago, right? Because a lot of things is the blocks aren't so much technical. The blocks aren't so much tactical. A lot of the blocks are like always in the mind. And you always hear this about all these entrepreneurs, but it's true. Like a lot of the guilt, a lot of the shame, a lot of the shilt that we experience is our own mental blocks holding us back. And until we conquer our mental blocks, your business is not going to grow. You're not going to achieve the success that you want, whatever that is. It could be laying on a beach in Costa Rica half the day, teaching surf lessons the other half, and doing yoga instruction in the morning. And that's like one of my friends. I actually built a surf camp in Costa Rica. So I don't care what your definition of success is. I think one of the first things we got to master is, man, what are we not thinking through in our mind? What are we not writing out? What questions are holding us back that we don't even know to ask? And during this time, we got to get masterful at journaling, masterful at asking, where am I going? What do I need to do? Because the 2 greatest gifts we can give ourselves as entrepreneurs, as humans, is number 1, knowing where we're going. And number 2, what do I need to do now? Like, what do I need to do today to accomplish that which I want? Like, what do I need to do today? If we know where we're going, we know what we need to do today, we will achieve great things. So going back to how did I scale a business during 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and it just kept growing. Well, number one, I had a clear vision. I knew what I wanted. And so if you have a clear vision, I promise you this, it probably will manifest if it's truly clear. If it's vague, if it's like, I wish, it's not going to happen. You've got to have, and we go back to the other topic we talked a few weeks ago about was vision and getting people to buy into your vision, because that's where all the passion is, because you're going to need to wake up every single day and be like, okay, guys, this is my vision. This is where we're going. We're going to sell home warranties to the world. We're going to sell supplements to the world. We're going to open podcast studios. We're going to do YouTube marketing. We're going to do, I don't know, we're going to help people lend in private money club. Like whatever it is, we're going to have a vision for impacting. We're going to teach people to be their own banks. Whatever it is, there's people out there with vision, and that's where I come in. I have been backing up people with vision for years now, helping them take their vision and be in the back end of the business architect of a bunch of different high-level leaders that are growing and scaling companies. I love what I do. I love to be the secret force behind people, helping them think through where they're at. Where do they want to go? How do they want to scale? How are we going to architect their companies? And so if you want to scale during economic downturns, number one is getting time by yourself, sitting there in the chair, sitting there on the couch, journaling out, man, what do I want? Where am I going? What may be blocking me? And asking yourself the Byron Katie questions. And if you don't know what those are, you might want to buy the stack from Garrett J. White. That's one of the best tools you possibly can get. What Garrett did masterfully is he taught people to ask better questions. He taught people a format of questions that he got from Byron Katie. He got from Crucial Conversations. He got from other areas. And then he put them in a tool called the stack. And it's a series of questions to ask yourself in a way that unlocks your conscious mind. And so that's why this journaling and getting number one clear. Every week, every day, you've got to be clear. Where am I going? What am I going to do? If you're going to scale any type of business or in economic times, if you're feeling any anger, any sadness, any depression, anything inside of you, well, now's a great time to sit and journal and say, why am I experiencing? Where does this come from? How do I release this? And then be open to the universe or God or whatever it is that's going to bring you the right tool, the right people in the right place to release that stuff so it doesn't hold you back from focusing on how do I grow and scale my business? How do I live my life during these ups and downs of all this chaos going on in the world right now? How do I build a business that's going to succeed when literally the current administration in office has other countries now going off the dollar, and the news is talking about freaking Trump and some girl? I'm just like, how in the world are not the entire United States of America right now up in arms of what's happening with the dollar? Like, people are just missing out. One of the biggest things possibly happening in the world. We're ready. We're going into worlds that are so uncharted right now. I don't think the world's seen such as instability in, God, I don't even know, pre-World War I maybe, or pre-World War II, some of the things that we're going to see. So we've got to be on point. Like literally, guys, we're going to have to be on point. We're going to have to know where we're going, what we're doing, how we're going to execute at the highest level. We can't waste time. We're not going to have the dollars to waste anymore. We're going to have to compete in a global environment. I'm working with one person right now. I was like, hey, looking at your business model and the current laws of the United States of America, there is no way you can economically compete. It is almost zero impossible to have your entire company in the United States of America with the things that have happened, with how things are going, with how the dollar is, with how deflation is, with how the dollar doesn't have the value and the amount of money that you can charge for what you're selling. There's no way. You need to go and outsource almost 75 to 80% of your staff to economically survive. So if you're going to build a company during crazy economic times, you're going to have to be clear and architect your business. You're going to have to architect your life. You're going to have to architect all the aspects of everything you're touching so you don't waste the time, money, or energy to go where you need to go, because, man, it's going to be crazy. I mean, we're already in such a global competitive environment. It's almost ridiculous, to the point that I think America is about to be crushed hard. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to survive, and then two, a lot of people just expect a lot now. They expect a lot of money. They expect a lot of time off. They expect all these things So if we're going to survive, we're going to have to get crafty. We're going to have to be clear on where we're going and how we're going to get there. So during your journal, after you clear the emotional blocks in your head, oh, I'm unsure about this, we're going to have to spend time then mapping out where we're going, where we're at. So we're $1 million business going to 10 million, and we're going to have to figure out this gap. We're going to have to figure out how do we write out, man, where we're at, where we're going, and what do we need to get there? And then methodically draw out month by month, what are the activities, quarter by quarter, writing out every idea, getting clear on every action item, and then working with the teams around us to make sure that we can actually execute on all of this. Because if we don't execute on all these ideas, stuff will fail. We all must become masters at project management right now. Every one of us become masterful at defining where our time's going. Not only defining the actions, but then taking those actions and putting them in our calendar. So every day we wake up, every day we go to bed, we know where our time's going. From the moment we go to bed, I know I need to fall asleep at 11. I know I need to get up at 6:30. I know from 6:30 to 6:45, I've got to go to the bathroom, go get supplements. I've got to do all these things, drink all the drinks I've got, the water, the lemon, the salt every morning. And then I need to go outside and get my sunlight and do my stretching and morning workout routine every day that I know. And then throughout the day, my calendar is booked solid with meetings and activities and people and projects. And I take all the ideas and put in the calendar. You running companies, you running your department, you running any aspect of your life, I would consider that you want to master this calendar. You want to make sure you're mapping out from day to night, literally 7 days a week, because we don't have time or money to waste anymore in this world. The speed in which companies are being built, the speed in which the world's changing, the speed in which literally it is no longer the slowness of the 80s that I grew up in, or the slowness of the 70s, or all the decades prior. The speed in which companies are being built and growing is ridiculous. The speed in which other countries and I lived in Thailand for a couple months last year. You know what? I thought Thailand was a bunch of mellow people. No, these people are hustling and grinding, and there's products and services popping out of there that I didn't even realize. Like I lived in Turkey last year for a month. Man, the hustle, the grind, the passion, man, you just heard it, how people are just so motivated to go and build businesses. And the competitive landscape, it is global. Anything that can be done worldwide is being done worldwide. So if you've got a job, and now we're watching AI, I mean, it is mind-blowing, the robots, the AI that is coming out, and you're just like, okay, you better own a company that's ahead of all this, or you're going to be stuck and left behind. That is the truth. Let that sink in, guys. You're going to be left behind if you don't find time to figure out where you're going and how to use all the new tools, because we are in an age that it is moving so fast. So where are you wasting time? Where are you not getting time to journal and get clear on where you're going and what you need to do? From there, mastering your project management. From there, mastering your calendar. From there, then meeting with your team and regularly dreaming and talking and sitting there going, okay, how are we going to move this vision forward? How are we going to make this thing happen? And everybody every day needs to be passionate and committed to saying, we've got to figure out how to get this thing going. And we got to use what precious resources of time and money we've got to reinvest and reinvest and reinvest to move this company forward, because we will be left behind. We will be left behind if we're not innovative. We will be left behind if we do not work our ass off. We will be left behind if we do not get up and grind every day with a clear intention of getting amazing results in our life. And so the question is, where are we not getting amazing results in our life? Where are we not achieving that which we want? And we had to give ourselves permission to be like, it's okay. Okay, I failed. I'm not getting the result. Okay, I'm releasing it. Okay. Well, what do I have to do to change to get what I want? Am I having the experience I want in life, or am I not? If I'm not having the experience I want in my life, well, what experience do I want, and how am I going to go get that? And as leaders, as founders, as owners, you and I, as just humans, we've got to get clear as a nation, as a one nation that's holding the torch of freedom in the world. If we let this torch die, man, communism is going to run rampant. Man, could you imagine China running the world and not the US? There's going to be a global social system. And as entrepreneurs, if we don't rise today If we don't stand up and start acting like we're running companies instead of just having fun, we're going to lose all of it, guys. You're not going to be able to compete with the global marketplace. You're not going to be able to compete with people that are trained to work 12 to 14 hours a day studying, very intense, working very hard. There's very few people in America that are operating at that level. Probably 5, 6, maybe 12% of people operating at this intensity level that the rest of the world's operating. They're willing to work day and night. They don't care about the work condition. They don't care about how they live. They're just ready to grind. And that's the marketplace we're competing in. So what'd you say, V? I apologize. Can't follow. You're repeating the same words without anything concrete. V, I apologize, V. So concrete things specifically. V, Google Byron Katie. Google how to journal. Google how to get certified in project management. Google how to start applying the project management to your calendar. Every day, you want your calendar full of all the activities you just chosen. And from there, get with your team. Sit with your team. Map out what you're going to do in the next 90. And it's as simple as that. Literally going out, what are we going to get done the next 90? And how do we fill all of our calendars up? And then every day meet and say, what did we get done yesterday? And what are we going to do today? And then a longer weekly meeting, you're going to sit in that weekly meeting and say, what do we need to make sure we happen more of today and less of tomorrow? And it's as simple as that. Then from there, we're going to map out our cash flow. You're going to have a 1 year, week by week cash flow mapped out every day, every week. Every expense is going to be week by week. Every expense that goes out, every income coming in. You're going to have an income sheet. How are you making money? When's the income? When the income projections coming in? You're going to have that. And you're going to look at that every single month with your team and say, where are we going? Are we on track or are we off track? These are the basic tools that will help you scale, V. And if you have questions, please, V, reach out, text me, call me, and we'll help you figure out like where you're stuck or what information we can give you, because there's a lot of nuances to this. I'm not the best communicator, guys. I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the most articulate person out there doing this stuff. But when we sit and we work with your company one-on-one and we think and we architect what you need for where you're going, and we work within these groups of entrepreneurs, we go deep, guys. We go really, really deep. Because why? Because, hey, I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the most articulate, charismatic individual in the world. But man, when it comes to 0 to 15 million, 0 to 75 employee companies, architecting them, building them, growing them, scaling them, figuring out where the problem's going to be, preempting the problems before they come, designing the software that we need, designing the project management, designing the economic system, the legal system, the frameworks of legalities that we should or shouldn't operate in, depending on the company we're building. We can help you with that. So if there's something specific that you're stuck on, architecting what your team might look like, architecting what your pay scales should be, architecting what, man, there's just so many aspects of these businesses that if we don't think it through, that's where I'm trying to give you some core things to start with, because then you go, oh, I'm stuck on my financial models. Well, I need to learn P&Ls. I need to learn balance sheets. I need to learn literally, how do I build a cash flow? What kind of cash flow model are you looking at, Troy? Explain to me. Well, I can print one out of QuickBooks. I guarantee you're printed out of QuickBooks not going to impact your business. If you have a spreadsheet and you make a cash flow model out of a spreadsheet and you can play with it and add employees in the future, change when the income's coming in, change the expenses, move one expense from 1 week to the next, you can manage your cash flow. So how much can I put into my business or how much can I not put into my business? And so, V, hopefully I can get you the information you need when you get a chance. So guys, we're going to wrap up today because we're trying to keep these short. But man, honestly, reach out. Like I've actually had several people reach out for me doing these things now where we're able to give them tools and tips and tricks and little things and hop on and see if I can serve them or not, or refer them to friends that may have specific skills or people that we know that are legit, that aren't ripping people off. And no, I don't know any great social media companies that are not ripping people off, guys. Literally, sorry about that. If you know of a great social media company to refer, please send one over that's not ripping people off. Otherwise, go to troyhoffman.com. If you need help scaling or growing your business and you're an owner, founder of a company, please reach out, man. We're here to serve you guys. And follow us on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at @HoffmanTroy. We're building out the YouTube channel methodically. So love you guys. Have a great week. if you're struggling in your business during economic times, man, please reach out. Man, we are here to help. Love you guys. Bye-bye.